Hey guys, welcome to episode 25 of Herizon Podcast, a podcast empowering women to heal, overcome trauma, and embrace change. Through our community, we strive to inspire women to create a future where they lead with love, confidence, and courage, helping break boundaries and reach new horizons. So I'm so excited, guys. We have my very good friend Penelope here. My entrepreneur friend, Penelope here. She is the force behind Skin MD. Hi, friend. How are you?
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for coming in on episode 25.
That's a milestone, girl.
Thank you. I told you that we were going to do this, and here we are.
Yes.
Everything lined up for us today.
Yes.
So congratulations to you. I know that we have another location.
Yes, we are opening actually next month our Costa Mesa location.
So we have Ontario
and Costa Mesa.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. How exciting is that? So, I mean, you are a total boss babe. And I mean total boss babe. I've known you for a couple of years now. And I want to say, before we get started, I just want to say how much you mean to me, honestly. You have been there through some of my tough times, and you've opened your door, your home, your everything to me during my hardest times, honestly. And I have to say that I'm so grateful, and I am so blessed to have you as a friend. But also, I met you through the beauty industry. Mm-hmm. We're both in the beauty industry, and you started off with brows. Am I right?
Yes, permanent makeup.
Permanent makeup, mm-hmm. And you were, I want to say, one of the first ones in the industry.
It was pretty, it like when it was barely starting to be popular. Yeah.
Yes. And now, here we are. Now, Penelope injects.
Yes, girl.
So I know you also had a London location.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's where originally you started.
That's where I opened the first med spa.
Okay.
In London.
And of course, things are different over there. Mm-hmm. Now we're in, you are now a nurse. So now you do it here.
Yes.
Okay, because I know the process is different in London.
Right, so
each
country has different regulations, which whoever's in business, make sure you know your regulations because you want to obviously follow law. So I had to actually get a whole new degree to be able to do my passion here in California as well.
Okay, mm-hmm. So I mean, because you already had, like you said, you already had the experience, you just didn't have the documentation or
right.
that we would need to practice and do that here. Am I right?
Correct. So
okay, so let me ask you, how did it feel to have to go back to school?
Girl.
I mean, you know, it's crazy because the way I see it is like, and I've been very transparent with my audience. I started my business where I started into the business, and then I got my licensing after, right? At a older age, and when my business was more, it was grown, right? So now you've had a couple of degrees already, right? Mm-hmm. And then we're adding another one I would say at the age that we are now, right? Mm-hmm. And you have so much going on. Mm-hmm. So how was all that?
So to be perfectly honest, when I moved back to the States, I was just like, I'll manage, med spa. And I never thought I would be the school type girl, and even less, at, I don't know, 10 years after graduating. Let's not talk about numbers. But I just thought I can't do this. I just don't see how, first of all, the time, and second of all, I'm not very
I know what you mean,
or smart,
because I am the same way. I'm more, I would say I learn off life as opposed to like, I'm not a school person. It's hard for me to concentrate and like grasp things.
Right.
Yeah.
It just, and I heard this that most, I guess, C and below students are usually the entrepreneurs, and the A students.
Here we are.
Yeah, exactly. So I've always been a C and D student. So when I had to go to school and become a nurse, which it's a very hard schooling to go through, it wasn't something that I planned. And I realized that the passion I had in me was way bigger, and the vision for Skin was way bigger. So I just decided to go back, and it was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. But I'm here to say that it's never too late to start or to pursue what you want. It's never too late to go to school or start the business, or I don't know, whatever it is your dream is.
Right.
You have to go for it. And you know what? time passes anyway.
It does.
Before you know it, it's like 2, 3, 4 years have passed and you could have had that degree that you were looking to get or whatever it is that your dream was.
And it's funny you say that because honestly, it feels like it was just like a couple of months ago where you were just like drowning in it. Because I remember speaking to you, we can hardly, we would catch up during our workouts. That's basically the hangout time we had because you were literally so consumed in school. Nursing school, for all my people that, are in medical school, is very...
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's not a school. It's your whole life.
Yes.
And at the beginning, from being a boss babe and being able to have my own schedule to now being attained to their schedule. I mean, I remember when I had to tell you, I can no longer have lashes because the clinical sites were not allowing it. And that was a big hit because I've been on my own for so long. Not even like, I guess, a boss to tell me what to do. And it's like, now I had to humble down. It was a humbling experience.
Okay.
But you always learn. And here I am, and it just feels like it was just a blur, and I'm here and I finished it, and it's, I'm able to do what I love. So I encourage anybody who's been thinking about it, just go for it.
Go for it. Honestly, like she said, time it goes by so quick. And before you know it, you're already done with it, and you're opening up locations left and right.
How many people are in relationships wasting time, hoping that things change? If you're able to be patient for a man, you can do school.
That's right, baby. That's right. I love that. Very true. And you know what? So let me ask you, how do we balance everything? How do we balance? You're married. I love your relationship. You guys have such a great relationship. And I know that he also works with you.
Yes.
Okay. So I know he had his own business in London and he's also an entrepreneur himself.
Yes.
So he already has that drive behind him, right? So we have two entrepreneurs, which I think that's a great combination. But how did it end up that he is now, I would say, the manager of Skin MD, right? So how does that dynamic work between you guys working together?
It definitely was a little adjustment. I think now, times are different. Now women do have businesses. Women do have a life, have a career. And I think it was definitely an adjustment. Like you said, he he is an entrepreneur and he had to now learn a whole new, field. And at first it was a weird dynamic because we were each in our own world, and now we've collided our worlds.
Right.
But it's definitely been worth it. I think it's a year down now from that moment.
That went fast.
And it's worked out. Although I do want to say that you do have to learn to have a switch on and switch off when it comes to work relationship.
Okay.
So I've had to learn to balance my boss babe energy the moment we enter home.
I mean, because I understand that it's hard. We're always on boss duties. We always are. We're covering staff. You got staff. You got clients. We're always on what's next. We're always on. Our brain is always kind of used to control, right? So when you get home, I feel like I know that I had that problem too, where it was kind of do this, do that type of thing, right? So how do you turn that off at home?
I think that's so important because women have such masculine energy now, and it's killing off the male's masculinity as well, because we're on that mode. As you said, it's hard to shut it off, but it's definitely important. I think nothing is healthy when it's all the time. Even if you went to the gym, had no rest days, it's not healthy for you. So when it comes to that boss mindset, if you are married or in a relationship, that should be your soft space. And there's things that I personally have had to learn to do. So for instance, if I get home and I don't change, I'm still in boss mode. I'm still going. My brain is still running. But some of the, rituals I've had to do to be able to achieve that softness and the comfort of home and allowing him to be the leader would probably be just changing into comfortable clothes.
So you're taking off your masculinity outfit, I guess, your boss babe, and you're turning into the feminine soft woman at home, the wife.
Right. And I think just for me, it's changing, maybe doing my skincare. So when he's there, it's like, hey, babe, like we're just living a, a normal life, and I'm able to put the office behind. So it's not the same for everybody, but you have to find something that brings that awareness to like, okay, now it's a different Penelope, and it's okay to have all these versions of Penelope. Because we need to have that balance to be mentally healthy.
Wow, I think that's great advice, honestly, because I feel like for us women, it is hard to turn off that control, and it comes off as that, of course, that masculine energy, because that's, I feel like that's what we drive with, right? So that was great advice. Like, it's finding the little details that make it easier for you to step into a different role, right? So, okay, so staff, talk to me. Let's talk about your staff here. I know that there's been a couple of different employees, right? I've been with you for years. Nobody's touched my face besides SkinMD. How has that been?
To be honest, it's harder to, I guess, not deal, but to manage staff than it is for even to take care of patients and clients, because everybody has their own life and their own situations and their own mindsets. So knowing what the business is, the motto and what we stand for is important, because once you have clarity on that, then you know the guidelines of the people that you want to bring on board. Now, every business should have growth spurts. And I feel like now that I have finished nursing school, Skin has grown, not only in a second location, but as a business, it's grown. And people need to fit that change to be able to continue to grow. It's important to follow your gut when it comes to people in anything, whether it's a business or relationship or friends, everything. And that whatever system you got going on needs to be supportive of whatever growth your business has or whatever it's going on right now with the business.
So now, what do you say? How's your staff? I feel like I walk in there, the energy is different. It's flowing. I feel like you guys all are very united and you all get along. And it just flows and you can see it, right? Because I feel like that you can kind of see that when you walk in a business. So how are things flowing now with your staff?
It's so good. I think it's all has to do with the energy you bring and not allowing anything else but that. Also, I think clarity is important. Sometimes we are not good communicators. And I feel like the moment you are able to really communicate, I guess the needs of the business, they have more clarity. And I think when they weren't performing things that I needed performed is because I didn't provide the right clarity. So I think I've learned to communicate better with the staff to be able to achieve bigger and greater things.
I mean, you covered my next question because I was going to ask you that, like, learning to go from, working for yourself and being an independent artist to now managing people and having to tell them, like, you know what, I'm going to have to write you up for this. Or how did you transition into that? Because I know that to some people, it can be hard. I don't want to say to confront, but to have those conversations, right? Especially if you have a relationship with your staff.
You know what? With a smaller team, I think a lot of people are scared to have important conversations, or I guess conflictive conversations, because you think, oh my gosh, like I don't want them to be upset, or like I want to be a friend. But it's because you're a smaller team that should care enough about the business and about how you feel and how this is affecting things, as opposed to if they were just a number. So the smaller the team, the more comfortable you should feel in having those difficult conversations, because that's the bond that you're creating because you're smaller. So I think it's all perspective. And a lot of us beauty people, we have smaller teams, and you have to have those conversations. And the moment you do, you're like, wow, that was easier than I thought in my whole head. I was like planning this whole thing, and it's not that difficult. And
overthinking, then
you're overthinking, and like, how am I going to say this? And of course you have to be careful, but at the end of the day, these conversations are like 90% go way better than what you even expected them to go. And they obviously enforce the bond with the person. You get closer almost. And then also, obviously, you get the outcome that you're looking for.
Okay. So now you said that you have, we're talking about your staff. So you opened up we're opening up a second location in Newport, which I'm very excited to go and get work done. Clearly, business is doing great, right? So but I know that you work a lot, so it doesn't come easy for everybody. Entrepreneurs, we work more than 9-10 hours. Okay. So it didn't come easily. But my thing is, I feel like we're talking about having a staff that cares about the business, right? And I know that from knowing you, you have a little bit of, how would I say it? You can't let go of control fully. So now that we have Ontario location, you're going to be working out of Newport location. So how are we're trusting the staff enough to have them run everything by itself. So that means that business is doing good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's going well. I definitely have had to learn to delegate and trust and understand that not everybody is going to do things how I would do them, but that's okay. Sometimes they could do it better. I was so used to the control, and I think just going to nursing school, I had to just trust.
So that was something
trust.
that you learned, right? To let go. Because I feel like what you said earlier is, we're entrepreneurs, so we are our own bosses. Like we are our management. We're everything to the business, right? So we're not used to being told what to do. And I know you said earlier, it was a humbling experience to go back and revert to like someone telling me you can't wear this, you can't do this, you got to go from here to there, this is what you got to do. So I thought about that myself, and it's not easy. So now you learn to let go of that, and things has that made life easier for you?
So honestly, it definitely has made life easier because I was juggling so many tasks that I really didn't need to be doing myself.
Okay.
And being able to delegate that has freed up my time to focus on other things in other areas of the business that I need. So it's definitely, a learning experience to hire on people, but it can be rewarding.
Okay. Now, we have Ontario location and then we have Newport location. So we're going back and forth in between both businesses, but now Ontario can hold its own and you have steady traffic. But you were telling me earlier, it's been busy, but not busy, but the numbers are still.
So it's interesting because I was thinking like a month back, I was like, oh my gosh, we're so slow. And I was worrying. And normally summer is their slow season. But I looked at the numbers recently and the numbers are the same. So it feels slower, but the numbers are the same. And sometimes we worry about having a traffic of people, but are they really the clients that we want? Okay. Are they really about what you're about? And now I feel like the slowness doesn't deter me and it doesn't scare me because we're having better clientele that actually, commit to the treatment plans that we have. So it's been an interesting shift of mind. I'm more about quality over quantity.
100%.
And as you grow in a business, I think at first everybody's like that, like La que venga, whoever comes, you're just trying to get out there. You're trying to get busy. But there has to be a point where you're like, wait a minute, like I'm worried about them hiring me for this service. Now, do I want them as a client? Okay. And the moment you have clarity on what clientele you're aiming for, it's when you're going to hit it and you're going to grow and you're going to really achieve what you want. You have to have clarity in what clientele do I want and do everything for it. If you're advertising, make sure that it's something that you really want to push forward and you're not just filling in an Instagram
just
feed.
Post, right.
No. So now I'm very intentional about what products am I posting, what services am I posting. So I don't waste time on the things that are not what I want to push forward.
So I know you said that you also invested into somebody, is it like a coach for business?
Girl.
And I feel like from when you told me to now, that shift also helped you with the business. So investing into the business as far as what you don't know, because that was a great advice that you had given me that day. You said, you know what, you should think about a coach, but that markets or works within your business niche, right?
Right.
So how has that worked out for you?
So yes, I used to always see these big people, like they have coaches for this and for that. And I personally never thought I would be that person or that it was that beneficial. I just thought, oh, they just got money, so they're just hiring coaches. And I don't know why, but this person came into my feed, and I recently hired a business coach in what's in my field.
Okay.
And that was such an amazing turning point and investment into the business, because it almost helped me organize my thoughts. There's things that I already knew, but it helped me organize myself better, and it helped me execute whatever I had in my mind in a better way. And I think it was a very good investment. So whoever is out there seeing this people getting coaches, it honestly, it does work. It works for me.
How do you do it all? Okay. Because you're working nonstop, right? You're a wife, and you're running all over the place. So how do you balance housework? How do you balance work? How do you balance a team? How do you balance husband? How do you balance all this?
You know, doing it all is so overrated. Before, I used to proudly say, oh yeah, I can do it all. And now I proudly say that I don't do it all. And I am so much happier because of it. Sometimes we find that if we need to hire someone for anything, we think it's a cost, it's an expense, that we might think, can I afford that person?
Okay.
But in reality, down the road, it's actually an investment. So for instance, right now, I currently have a housekeeper, I have a cat sitter, my babies.
Yes.
I have a gardener, I have staff at the business, and I have now a manager.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to do it all and
we try to do it all.
Yeah, we try to do it all.
But we always end up cutting short somewhere.
Right. We're not going to be the best at everything. No. And even if we end up doing a good job, we're cutting time into what we're really good at and our passion.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I have these investments, because that's what I call it,
yes.
They're investments, they've allowed me to really invest time in what I'm really good at and focus my energy into that. Because when you're thinking it's a cost, how much are you worth an hour? Like, do you really need to go and clean your house, or do you focus on the business and then double that income?
Right.
So I think it's definitely something to think about. Don't think about, obviously the numbers have to make sense, but in my experience, it has definitely benefited, and it's been a great investment, and it's helped me double, triple my numbers because I have the right people in the right place.
And I love that. I definitely would say I agree 100% on that, because it's true. We think that we can do it all, and we're not saying, in reality, you're going to cut short somewhere. Mm-hmm. You're going to lack somewhere, and you're not going to be able to execute how you truly would want. And instead of, like you said, time is money. Mm-hmm. Time is money. So that is an investment to make more money. It's how I see it. Right. So we have the help down. It seems like, everything's flowing good. Now, I have to say that the relationship with your husband, like I told you, I admire, because, we talk a lot about toxic, unhealthy relationships. And I have to say that you and him have such a great, healthy, just beautiful relationship. And can you tell us a little bit more about that? How is your dynamic with him? How did you meet him? Because he's from London. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I know you lived in London for a little bit, and now we're here in Cali. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about you guys.
So I actually met him in LA. He was on a trip, and I said yes to going out with a friend. So ladies, if you're looking for a partner, do not be staying home, because I know a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I am interested, and they never go out. So you need to say yes and
get out the house, please. We
get
always
out the house.
Say that.
Nobody's going to come.
They're not going to come knocking at your door.
They're not. But I would have to say that something that has kept us united is definitely God. We are about God, and it's important to have that, because that will hold you together, and it will make you a better person, first of all, and then a better partner, because you have that in mind. And I think communication is key. I remember when we first got married, about every month, once a month, we would sit down and be like, well, how are you feeling?
I love that. Okay.
And we did that. And at first it's a little bit uncomfortable, because sometimes you might not hear what you want to hear, and you're it's a little tough, right? Right. And But it's important because then sometimes, especially men, I think men, it's hard for them to express themselves.
Right.
And this is what the majority of men that I've met, friends in general. And when you're really having that, like looking into their eyes and asking those questions, you'd be surprised that they really do have a mind of their own. And they might not express it because I'm vocal. I think most females that I know, they're very comfortable with expressing themselves, but men often don't. So when you really hear them out, I think you can accomplish great things as a couple because then you're on the same page and you're understanding of their feelings as well as yours. They are emotional creatures, unlike what most people think. They do have emotions, they have thoughts, and we just have to learn to dig it out and have those monthly conversations.
So you gave him a safe space to be vulnerable and express himself as to what may have been bothering him or not, or just overall, right? And I think that's beautiful because you said, they are emotional humans just like we are, and they do think, and so sometimes I feel like as women, some women may look at men like they're tough and they're masculine and but in reality, I feel like that is key communication as to how are you feeling,
right? And
what
they
may
need
be
to be
bothering
heard.
you.
They definitely need to be heard, and we're all about this world is about female empowerment, but men need to be heard too.
Okay, do you believe in the happy wife, happy life?
100%. We can be a bit more feisty and complicated, but I do think a happy husband brings a happier wife. It circles all around. It's a circle.
I love
It's a circle of life. And going on the topic of our monthly, I think just like with staff, if you say, hey, we got to talk, it becomes like a taboo, like, oops, what's wrong?
Yeah. Already that negative energy's already shifted into it. Like, I'm in trouble.
Oh my gosh. Right. So now with staff, we have monthly conversations. So it's like a routine. And
so you apply that into your workspace.
Right. So in the workspace, we do monthly conversations. We call them conversations because that's what they really are. So in our relationship, to be honest, we don't do it lately, but at the beginning, it was a very important thing to do. So we had monthly. So it wasn't like, hey, because when somebody tells you we got to talk,
it doesn't.
You already tense up, like your shoulders, yeah. So I feel like with the staff and also in my relationship, when it's like an ongoing thing that they're used to, it doesn't feel so harsh, and it's such a more comfortable space to actually open up, and it's easier to talk about difficult things as well as positive things.
Okay, so communication is key. And you said you lead your relationship with God. Would you say that having, similar views is something that's important in a relationship?
100%. And I believe that there should be boundaries set since the very beginning, and they should not be crossed over. Like, for instance, Jeff and I have never cursed at each other, ever.
I love that.
And I know people that once you do it once, it's going to be like a
it's what you allow.
And the disrespect will continue because it is a disrespect. So I think if there's, for instance, I always say, if we get into an argument, because there will be days where you get into it, you're two different humans. We don't sleep in a separate bed.
Do you guys go to bed mad?
Yes, I think people will go to bed upset. But we don't separate because I think that creates a bigger gap. We don't believe in the silent treatment. No, it's more like, I used to be the type that if I was upset, I can talk about it all night and all day. And he used to say, you're like the FBI that will put you in a room and and torture you until we talk about it. And now I've learned that it has to be on his, he likes daytime. I like nighttime to talk. But now whenever we go through something, I'll be like, okay, when do you want to talk about this?
Okay. So we kind of
schedule a conversation.
Okay.
And oftentimes when you schedule a difficult conversation with your partner, by the time the date and time comes, you're almost over it because you've had time
you cooled out your process.
You cooled off. So either you're over it or you're in a much better space to actually communicate and not fight. There's a big difference between fighting and communicating.
Yes. Okay. So, I mean, you guys have a social life. I feel like couples after a while, they just make the relationship repetitive. You guys I see you guys traveling. I see you guys go dancing. I see you guys you have a close group of social friends, and you're all over the place. So would you say that that's important in a relationship, to still have a life but together? And I see that you guys also have individual. I love that. for your graduation, he got like 20 of your girlfriends. I was one of them. Got a bus, and we went out to LA, and he planned everything and allowed us girls to just be girls. And I thought that was like, wow. Because once again, I'm not used to seeing healthy relationships like that, where he allows you to have your friend time and he has his friend time. And then you guys have friend time together, where you guys have close friends where you travel with and things like that. Would you say that that's important in a relationship too?
100%. I think, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of anything is bad. So before, people had someone for everything, friends, and now I see that relationships in the United States are very like, if I have a man, you do everything with your man, or the man does everything with the woman, and they don't have their own personal time and friendships. So then it becomes, that could become very toxic. Yes. When you don't open up to a larger circle of people, you're going to get on each other's nerves.
Of course.
So something that my husband, obviously he's European, the men have their own group of friends and their own life, and the women do as well. So I think the balance of him, he has his alone time, he has his boy time, and I have my girl time. It's very healthy. And so when we come together, it's that much better. But we're able to be whole without each other. And that is important. You don't need a man who's going to be like friends with your friends all the time, and vice versa. Each one should be an individual. And that's been a key into us staying healthy.
Okay. That's beautiful. Okay. Now, talk to me about your cats. Talk to me about your babies.
Yes. So I have 2 cute Savannah cats. They're my dream. And I actually got them during school because I knew I would have time for them, because they are time consuming. But it's been really fun. I'm such a cat mama. I know that you are too.
Yes.
How many cats do you got, girl?
I have 6, but I gave 2 to my sister. So I have 4 Spanx cats, the naked cats. And I know that everybody's kind of like, because they are my cute aliens. They're my cute little naked aliens. I love them. And they've helped my daughters and myself get through tough times. So I have to say, our pets are family.
They are.
Yeah.
They're a big part of the family. And we have to care for them. I just rescued the little 2 kittens.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Thank you to my good friend Penelope for joining us and being episode 25. She dropped so much knowledge and absolutely a little bit of everything. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for the likes, the shares. Thank you for the love and support. If there's anything that you want to talk about, put it in the comments. Let us know how you like this episode. Thank you for tuning in to Herizon episode 25. Like. This episode was brought to you by Guerrilla Marketing, a full-service marketing agency that helps brands, business, and creators bring their ideas to life. Guerrilla Marketing is all about creativity with purpose. They don't make content, they craft experiences that get people talking. From social media campaign to large-scale activations, they know how to make your brand stand out in a crowded world. The part that I love is that they also offer a beautiful professional studio spaces where you see Herizon filming. So whether you start your own podcast, filming a commercial, or just need a high quality content space for your business, they got you covered. So if you're ready to take your brand to the next level, make sure you hit up Guerrilla Marketing on social media. Coming to you from the Jungle Studios and brought to you by Guerrilla Marketing.